again, everybody. It's Todd Staruch, the horror nerd, here at New Jersey HorrorCon and Film Festival in Edison, New Jersey. It's day one of the convention, and I am having a blast today, as I always do. As I always like to say, I'm just a fan who gets to do some cool stuff. Speaking of doing cool stuff, I have the pleasure of spending a few minutes with Amos Crawley. Amos, how are you?
I'm great, man. How are you doing?
I am doing great. I had so much fun on our panel earlier today.
He ran a fantastic panel. It was really great. It was thoughtful questions.
Oh, thanks.
It felt very open and easy. It was great.
Well, like I said, I'm a fan, so it comes from that place. I'm asking questions that I want to know.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
That I've wondered about all this time. So, does it ever surprise you that after all this time, there's still such interest in shows like Goosebumps? 30 years later, people are coming to the conventions to meet you and talk to you.
The answer is yes. It absolutely does surprise me. But it's funny because I was talking with my wife about it and talking about just how lucky I feel to get to come and do these things and to meet all these folks. And then she reminded me of the things that are 30 years old that I love, that are so dear to me. She reminded me of the bands when they reunite and go on tour that I go and see, or the joy that I get from watching my favorite movies from when I was a kid with my kids. And so I guess it makes a certain amount of sense. It's just that when you are part of it, it just seems astounding that you could be lucky enough to be a part of that whole journey.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, man, nostalgia's big and it's real. You can poke fun at it or all day, and some people do, which I don't get.
I think we all deserve a little comfort now and then, don't we? And I don't think that ever getting in touch with your younger self is a bad idea.
Yeah.
Because we were probably a little more open then than we are now.
I agree.
Maybe I'm just speaking for myself.
No, I agree. So my brother, who's running camera for me, we talk about this all the time. With streaming and everything and physical media, there's endless choices. And I'll be scrolling and I'm like, oh, you know what? Let's watch Ghostbusters again. You know what I mean? So I totally get it. A movie I've watched 100 times.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I always love asking this question. People who were involved in a horror genre at all, are you yourself a fan of horror films?
I absolutely am, yeah. My favorite horror film is probably the original The Hills Have Eyes.
Okay.
Because I will say that my preference is usually for the slow burn, creepy, but in general, I love the genre.
Excellent. Me too.
Yeah.
So that was going to be my follow-up. What's your go-to? What's your favorite horror movie?
I mean, and it changes.
Yeah.
It changes, and the past few years we've had this incredible run of great horror movies.
Right.
I guess I'm probably, who knows where the starting point is, but I remember do you remember when It Follows came out?
Oh, yes.
About 10 years ago?
Yeah.
And it felt like that kicked off a whole renaissance in the genre of just every year there's these fantastic horror films. We just watched Sinners the other night.
Loved it.
It was terrific.
Loved it.
Terrific.
Weapons. Have you seen Weapons?
I haven't yet, and that's next on my list. I know. I'm feeling a little guilty for not having seen it yet.
That's okay, but you got to catch that one. No, and you know what? Studios are realizing we can invest $20 million in a movie and make $150 million. We don't have to churn out $300 million blockbusters all the time.
And it doesn't have to be a 2.5-hour bloated movie with too many plot points. It could actually just be a nice, tight, concise, scary movie.
Agreed. Even on the indie level, you see a film like Terrifier come out. Next thing you know, a hyper-gory, violent movie is playing in AMC all over the country. It's
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I mean, and that's an amazing performance too, right? Just from a physical standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
It's so great.
Well, they came up with an awesome horror character.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
So, Amos, in our panel, you mentioned that you came from a family of performers. So growing up in that environment, was it always a path you wanted to take? Or did you kind of have to develop it? I don't know if I'm asking that
Yeah, no, I
the
know what
right
you
way,
mean.
but
I think that it's like any other family business, right? Like if your old man runs the hardware store, you take over the hardware store. You don't really think about it. You work there in the summers, and I kind of feel like it was a similar trajectory for me. It was so ever present, right? Like I just grew up, I think a lot of kids grow up with this idea of like movies and TV and theater as being this like magical thing to aspire to. And it is, I don't mean to say it isn't, but if you grow up around it, it's like the grocery store. It's just sort of an ever present thing. And I guess maybe it loses some of its, some of the intimidation factor is lost a little bit. Because it's a thing that people do. It's a job. And to this day, I still think of it as it's a job. You know, you're punching a clock. It's a fantastic job. I get to play make-believe for a living, and I understand how lucky that is. But it's a gig, you know?
Sure. And I someone doing what I do, right, and being a fan,
Yeah.
it's such an interesting perspective, because as a fan of art, you know, whether it's a musician or an actor, I look up and say, wow, that's like so cool.
Yeah.
And like you said, for you, well, I did an audition and I got a gig and it's a job, and then I go on to the next job.
Yeah.
So it's such a fascinating perspective to me.
Yeah, I think, you know, we have a celebrity culture, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I do think that, like, at the end of the day, I do think of it the same way that I would think about it, I think, if I was an electrician or if I was a carpenter. You know, it's like, I got to go to work today, and I got to do my job today.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it's a fun job, but...
Was there ever a thought in your mind, like, what if I had gone down a different, what if I had become an electrician or a mechanic or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think my wife would be thrilled because I could do more around the house. But yeah, no, for sure. Of course. I mean, but we could all do that, right? We all have multiple paths open to us all the time, and gosh, who knows what I'll be doing next year.
Right.
You know?
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
I'm in IT, and every once in a while there's a day where I'm like questioning all my choices after high school.
I mean, like, if you're not doing that, I don't think you're paying enough attention to your everyday life, you know?
Fair enough.
You better ask yourself those questions sometimes.
I love it. Amos, one final question.
Please.
If there was one piece of advice you could give to a young upcoming actor or actress who wants to break into the business, what piece of advice would you give?
At the risk of sounding corny,
Bring it.
an older actor gave me this piece of advice when I was young, and I didn't heed it until much later, and I wish I had taken it seriously earlier, which is that what you are is enough. I think that there is a mechanic to the work of the actor. There are skill sets that you have to learn, just like I'm sure you know some programming codes that I don't understand. But at the end of the day, there is also something like at the core of who you are as a unique individual that's going to come across. And I think a lot of young actors are worried about getting it right or pleasing somebody, as opposed to actually just saying, like, I'm here and I've put the work in, and maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't. But that's not a comment on your value as a young artist.
Got it. I like it.
That and watch horror films.
I lied when I said that was the last question.
Great.
What are any new projects coming up that you can tell us about? What are you working on these days?
I got a couple of TV shows that'll be on the air in the next little while, just sort of guest spots on things, and I'm about to go shoot something, but I'm not allowed to talk about it.
Fair enough.
Unfortunately. But yeah, I'm around and plugging away, you know, doing the gig.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Amos, thank you so much
Thank
for a
you
few
so much
minutes
for your
of your time.
Thank you for your thoughtful questions.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate it.
I appreciate that.
And thank
It
you.
was great meeting you.
Yeah.
Amos Crawley, everybody here at New Jersey HorrorCon and Film Festival. I'm Todd Stewart, the Horror Nerd, signing off. We will see all of you in the next interview.